Noon. I was waiting a minute. We're one member. I hope will be here shortly. But I'd like to open the Harwich Affordable Trust meeting for January, would you believe it, 12th of 2026. And we'll call the meeting to order. I'd like to first start with a public comment. And Bruce, if you may, could you give us I've asked Bruce to give us a comment on the status of the old fire station and the portable units there.
Good afternoon, Bruce Young. I'm the president of the Harwich Fire Association. I'll just give the committee here a quick update on the status of 203 Bank Street. It's the old firehouse in town. We started this project back in December of 2022. I just want to let everybody know that the building's completed. We got all of our inspections are all done and completed. We're ready to occupy the 3 apartments on the 2nd floor. The 1st floor, we've already had a couple of events there that have been very successful. With being in partnership with Harwich Conservation Trust and the deed, we've had to do paperwork, language with the deed that not only satisfies us, but also satisfies the Harwich Conservation Trust. That has been done by our attorney, Billy Kroll, and the attorney for the Conservation Trust, Jamie Norcross. It's funny that I remembered that this meeting was coming up, but I did check with our attorney on Friday. He has that final document. He wanted to give it one more once over to make sure everything was okay. I've already signed it. HCT has already signed it. I think there's actually a page for the Harwich Conservation Trust to sign. So as soon as I have that document by the end of the week, I will get that to you to sign so that we can get this off to the state.
And then when do you start going through the lottery?
I think once we get that paperwork back from the state.
And is that normally a...
We heard it would be about 30 days once they have
I
it.
don't want to make negative aspirations on the state, but it won't be like it'll happen in our lifetime. It will.
Yeah. We're ready to occupy, so as soon as we get...
And I've walked through it. It's a fantastic job, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Anytime anybody wants to see it, please reach out to me or Norm. We'll come in there and do a tour. We do have probably like 3 open houses planned for the spring. One for the general public. It's going to be a push in and putting the old antique Maxim back into its original bay. And then we got a lot of people to thank. So there's going to be a few public thank yous there as well. So the list to thank people for this project, it's unbelievable how people came out and supported this project, not only for the firehouse, but also for the 3 apartments on the 2nd floor. I really believe in this. I really believe that there's enough vacant buildings in town where people can take these buildings and turn them into housing without disrupting up a whole neighborhood. Yeah. So it blends right into Harwoodport. Yeah. It's been there for 100 years. It's going to be there for another 100 years. And it's going to give 3 people a roof over their heads, help them on the American dream of being able to afford a place here on the Cape.
And you were our first group going through the process of a funding project, so it was a learning experience for us as well. So
yeah, I can't wait to show these places off. It's what a spot it really is. The parking lot is full every single day with people using the walking trails, and I just can't wait to finish this project off by getting 3 people into the apartments.
Well, I'm ready for spring so we can enjoy it more fully.
Yes, me too.
Anyone else for public comment? Brianna, go ahead, and then Matt, I'll get you. The last meeting I was here as chair, someone commented afterwards that they couldn't hear me in the audience. So if you can't hear me, I'll try to speak loudly, but wave your hand or yell at me or something, I will speak louder. I have learned to put the microphone up to me so I can hear in TV land, I guess, but let me know. Brianna? What was that? What did you say? It's going to be that kind of meeting.
Brianna Powell, housing advocate. Just to clarify Bruce's timeline, so LAU applications sit from 1 to 2 months at the state, and then the lottery process is 60 days to include marketing.
60 days after
the application's approved.
Okay, and that's the time when you spread the word around, put newspapers and that type of thing?
Yep. And Housing Assistance Corporation does all the marketing.
Handles the whole thing.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Brianna.
Thank
Matt, you want to public comment?
Thank you. How are you?
I'm sure you know this, Matt, but if you're going to speak to Penrose or West Harwich Square, you need to do that when they're on the agenda.
Well, thank you. Yes, I wanted to be clear that I could address Penrose at that time.
You can.
I can?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
That way you don't have to speak twice, but we'll keep it on the agenda.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Welcome. Anyone else for public comment? I always feel that mention our people online. Does anyone online want to say anything? If not, we'll move to new business. And we have our item on new business is looking at financial projections. And I'm not sure I've gotten the packet yet, but I went through some of the money we have committed and what we might commit and projections going forward. For instance, right now we have a total of $2.9 million available to us. We have funds that are have not been transferred to us yet from last town's meeting on CPA funds, CPC funds, and we have some stabilization funds committed. But I want to open this up to the board because this is not meant to be a discussion on the finances, but it is meant to be an opening on creating more of a structured business plan, if you will, of what we might need money for in the future. Because we don't have unlimited funds, and so we need to start setting things aside. For instance, we haven't in the past set aside money for legal expenses, and quite frankly, one thing happened is the town on their own being good people were paying some of our legal expenses. Now they say they're not going to do that anymore. We have to pay our own which is proper. We should do that, but we always look to, Bruce, you mentioned we're also trying to look at creative ideas to create housing, whether it's buy-down programs, tax credits, mortgage help. Are there things that we could be doing that we're not sure we can, but we need to be sure we have money set aside if they do become available. So that's the type of discussion that I want to start with. And Bob has been pushing this, so Bob, I'll turn it over to you to make comments.
Okay. I think that we've heard clearly from the public that it's important for us to be publishing a financial statement on a regular basis. And we need to have that statement, in my opinion, humble as it is, at the first of the year, at the end of the year, and in the middle of the year. So there needs to be a format for that, and my thinking is that that format would be a beginning balance, income broken down by source, a gross total of income, itemized expenses, total expenses, a listing of all assets that the trust owns. In this case, it would be 456 Queen Anne Road, 256 Sisson Road, 0 Depot Road, 0 Depot Street, and 0 Oak Street. And then a net of all assets, income, and expenses. And I think that that basic information is the information that the public is expecting of us and deserves from us. So I think, Larry, it's very helpful to have year projections, but I think that we also need to build in this financial statement as well.
Yeah.
So.
Totally agree. Other comments? Jeff?
I'm thankful for this financial statement. To be quite honest with you, being new on the trust, this certainly answers a lot of my questions.
And by the way, if it's not there, will this be included in our minutes? It's not meant to be a private. We're not trying to keep anything secret. It may have not got here in time, so this will be included in our minutes.
Larry, I don't see the vacation stipend for the trust members on this, though. Is that coming later?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Linda, do you want to use the microphone? As you all know, while Linda is walking, our main source of funds are CPA funds that get voted on each year at town meeting by the CPA and then at town meeting. We do get money from the stabilization funds. Money goes into the stabilization funds from the rental tax. The town meeting a few years ago agreed to use those for 25%, transfer 25% of those rental tax to the affordable housing. They also agreed to 25% of wastewater, and then the remaining goes in the general fund. And we also get some funding from the cell tower revenues. So that's where our sources of funds come from. And then what Bob says, we're trying to figure out exactly where they're going. Linda, please.
Linda Sabula, a couple of quick questions. One is, did I hear you correctly that it's January and you've not, your funds have not yet been transferred that were voted at town meeting?
You heard that correctly.
I'm wondering what they're waiting for.
Well,
And whatever the issue is, but that seems like problematic to me because you're losing the income, the interest income.
well, let me correct you on that. The interest income, as far as I know, is still being accrued into, will be transferred to us. They've kept that on a separate.
Okay,
So I should be getting that. The last time I checked, basically there was a apology that didn't happen, and it's supposed to be a higher priority, but I couldn't get a date of when it's going to happen. I'm assured that it's there. We're getting interest, but it's not been transferred yet, which,
okay.
I mean, that's 6 months ago now, or actually more than that,
7,
7 months.
8?
So we agree with that.
Okay. I just want to make sure I heard, that sounds to me like not getting jobs done somewhere. Second question is, when you do your financial statement, something that I think the public would be interested in, I'd be interested in, how much money have you given out? You know, what is committed, so that you may have $3 million in the bank, but if you've committed to spending, if you've already committed $1 million, you really only have $2 million. So I'd be interested in that. I think the public, to give a fuller picture of what you have versus what you've already committed and what you got left. Free cash, in effect.
Free cash.
It's
Yeah,
never
I love that
free.
term.
I love that term, too. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brendan, I didn't get a chance to comment?
No, good.
Again, I don't want to restate but I will repeat myself. This is not the end of the financial discussion. This is the beginning to get this all out there in a more public way, so everyone knows exactly what we have and what we're spending. Next on the agenda then is Penrose. John, you want to, Penrose, sorry. You don't want to talk to Penrose, do you, John? Let me read my own agenda. Well, I read it right, I just got the wrong person. Penrose has been before us several times, as you know. They made their first application to the ZBA last, help me out, 2 days ago.
28th.
Thursday. Thank you, Bill. That's why we have a reporter in the audience. And so they're considering their application. They've applied. They put an application to us a while ago now, which we've discussed several times in a very positive manner. But this comes up now, and what they're asking for is a funding from the trust of $500,000 to be committed now, and then given and then paid out to Penrose when they sign the lease, which means that they have to then that'll be the point where they've gotten all their approval through ZBA and all the various boards that needs to be to get that approval. And when that happens, when they sign the lease, we'd be committed to pay them $500,000. Their payment to us at the time when they sign the lease is $800,000. And so we end up with a net $300,000 when that takes place. If we don't give them the $500,000, they would subtract that, so I guess they'd pay us $300,000 at the lease signing. But the problem with that is that what the $500,000 does is it shows that we are in support of moving ahead with the Penrose development. And as you know, as everything, and Matt, I'm going to let you speak in a moment because know where you are with this, but there's been, as everything, there's been, I think, a proper discussion, some for and some against. This, for us, has been an important project. The trust bought the property 2021 for $800,000 for the specific purpose of building affordable housing. We've gone through a detailed discussion of 3 different requests for proposal. We like Penrose primarily because they had not just 3 structures, but they have, I think, I forget now, 10 or 12 smaller structures that seem to fit much better into how we want Cape Cod to look. And they're all, so we hope to move forward, and I had hoped that we could complete this in the next couple of months so that they could get in the first round of funding for this year. But we're not going to make that because it's just impossible to get everything done by March is when the state, so we'll probably, hopefully next year, they can apply for all the funding they need to make this happen. But for us, it's an exciting project. As you know, ZBA has 123 different contingencies tied to that application.
That's for Pine Oaks.
No.
For Pine Oaks, sorry, I'm going crazy.
That's right.
We, any case, so that's where we are with Penrose. I'll open up for discussion for the board first and then any public discussion. Bob?
I'm in favor of making this agreement with Penrose. This is our project. We chose the developer. We chose the design that they offered. And I think that it's about time that we had a significant project coming out of the Affordable Housing Trust. So I'm strongly in favor.
Thank you, Bob. Claudia?
I would echo that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Jeff?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just a quick point of clarification, if I may. And I'm gonna quote you. It's gonna be okay, don't worry, right? I'm gonna quote you, and I just wanna make sure that we can add a little something to the quote. So you made it very clear that the $500,000, and please, board members, if I'm off base, let me know. The $500,000 shows support, and that we will be moving forward with the development.
Right.
Would it be fair to add, just for the public's understanding, so that they know what moving forward means, moving forward with all the necessary steps to vet the project, including regulatory, public hearings, so forth and so on. I just don't want the public to hear that we're moving forward and it's gonna get built. And I don't think that's what you were meaning or intending at all.
It's not, no. No, we're involved, we have oversight the whole process.
Correct.
You know, they're working on
Correct.
their own, but we'll keep trying. You're right.
And thank you for just adding that
I
little
appreciate
piece to it. I remember coming into this project as a candidate for select board and speaking about the project. And I was not as informed as I am now, although I probably did a pretty good job convincing everybody I was informed. But I would say that I was, with my limited knowledge then, I knew why the town purchased the property. I knew why the town gave it to, provided the property to the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust. And I was in support of it with my limited information. Now that I've watched the amount of work that has gone into this project from these people and my predecessor, Julie Kavanaugh, who has done a phenomenal job making sure I understood everything, where we were, where we are going, I am in support of this project.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Brendan?
Same here, just echoing everything to date. Just for a little bit of clarity, the commitment that we're giving here today is not going to be dispersed until probably 2028. So just for a little clarity, when the ground lease gets signed. I'll do a motion, I'll explain all of the milestones we need to get there, or Penrose needs to get there before we sign the ground lease and we give the dollars. Okay?
Thank you, Brendan. Public comment? You have to make the journey to the mic again, Mike. Matt.
You could have sat closer.
Well, but it's good exercise.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I started my day reading the Chronicle, May 14, 2025, where I first got a keen understanding of what you were all up to. And clearly, it's an effort to look from A to Z and consider as many people in as many different income strata as possible. I ask that, though, that since May 14th, you consider how many things have changed for all of us, and there are lots of things that have changed for all of us. We all know a lot more about Pine Oaks. We all know a lot more about Queen Anne Road. We all worry a lot more about the junkyard across the street. I'm sure most of us recognize there'll be 2 or 3 stoplights at some point, and it'll be a challenge to get on and off Route 6. In other words, the doormat for Harwich is going to become congested, I'd say, by anybody's yardstick. So that this present understanding, which granted I didn't fully see on May 14th, 2025, I encourage you to consider. Mr. Handler just mentioned that there'll be review forthcoming, and that's all for the good. I think we all want that. But given what I've said about the potential for congestion, is that not a different situation than you all thought at the time, at the inception of this plan? I believe it must be, because the others were unknowns. So with that being said, slowing down, scaling down, considering all of the other things that are forthcoming, might seem appropriate. That would be my first statement. My second one has to do with you all as effectively agents of 40Bs. 40Bs do not obviate any oversight from several of the boards in town. Basically, board members that advocate for 40Bs are advocating for a lack of oversight by the town. So I would encourage you to consider going forward that any developments you might be party to should not run down that rabbit hole. We can't have a town that advocates home rule and all the controls that we want, and have board members that go against home rule. There's no logic in it. So some clarity, I think, is necessary there. And I think it's important that, as a board, you stand up and say you advocate 40Bs, not hide from it. And I, of course, and some others will probably want to challenge you as to why that is consistent with home rule and the responsibilities to be on a board and shoot a fellow board member in the foot. So that's my challenge to you, and I hope it will be considered. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. I don't know, Matt, whether this is a place to debate. I'd just make a couple comments. One is that we are, obviously, everyone's concerned about traffic, as is Penrose development team, and so they're actually working with Pine Oaks in this case to do another traffic study and what we can do. I think the view I get from a lot of people is that Queen Anne, traffic on Queen Anne is a problem. It's been a problem for some time, regardless of what, before or after either development, that we should be looking at. And I think the select board now is maybe already is trying to get more funding from the state available to do a much, because we've had traffic studies, but we really haven't taken a lot of action yet. And I think that's what I'm looking at Jeff, because he's our select, so we are trying to do that. In terms of 40B, that's the process we are using. I'll say that. I would argue, however, that Penrose has not done this in a vacuum with ZBA. I know I was with a group, and Brianna helped me out. They met with all the town departments maybe 2 or 3 months ago, with input from conservation, from health, everyone, and they made adjustments to the property based on those inputs. As you note, if you watch the ZBA meeting, they changed the traffic line at Penrose to make a straight shot through there, so fire trucks could get in and out easier. We continue to look at Bassett Lane, what that might help going forward. So I would reject your argument that we're doing this in isolation from all the other departments. We are trying to listen to you and others in that regard. If you make this walk again.
Thank you. No, I don't think you're doing this in isolation, and you're doing this with great goodwill, and certainly the town needs to consider everything you're trying to do. Please don't think that I'm just trying to take a shot at you. I'm not. But things change, life changes, things develop. In town right now, we have 3 big boxes. We've got Snow Inn wanting to double its footprint. We've got Pine Oaks, and we've got this agenda right here. Snow Inn's an interesting one because they want to double their footprint, and they're saying there's no problem with traffic on Snow Inn Road. We can just take some land away from neighbors, or we can do what we can do, and it'll solve the problem. That's just very simple thinking on my part, because there are always consequences, and those that are going to have some consequential effect need to be well considered, looking out, not just in the moment. And I don't see that where you engage in 40Bs and basically let Boston decide for me, for you, what can happen. And that's why I encourage you to think about that more.
No,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Good. Can I make just one other comment, and then I'll leave it alone? But this project and the others we're looking at, but talk about this one. This doesn't solve our housing problem in Harwich. We need more housing. As I joke, it's not solving world hunger. But when we started talking the financial statement, we started saying, well, what can we do now? Are there buy-down programs? Are there credit programs? Are there other things we can do to help? Well, I think, Matt, your suggestion is more individual housing and stuff going forward. And that's what we have funds. We're trying to be creative in that regard, too. But you need, in my opinion, we need all that going on. That's where we differ, I suppose. Brianna?
Yeah, I was just also going to share that we are mandated by the state to hit 10% of our housing to be affordable, and Chapter 40B is a tool to get there. And until we get to that 10%, we'll have more of an opportunity to have a say over projects once we hit that 10%. But currently we're at 5%. But I was just also going to say, Larry, that it was the department head meeting. We have a department head meeting to review projects.
Thank you. Matt, is this important? Let Mary, and then maybe keep it really short. Mary?
Mary Anderson, and I would just like to applaud the 5 of you, your persistence with this project. I know it's been a tough slog, but I think you made the right call, and I'm glad to hear that it sounds like a positive vote on the money. My recollection of the 3 proposals was the 500 that they were asking of the trust was significantly less than the other 2. So that's not an unheard of. All 3 proposals had that component. So kudos to the 5 of you. I look forward to progress.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Matt, very quickly.
Thank you. This will be the last you hear of me today. Thank you. I should have started my comments by saying I applaud everything that Bruce Young said at the start of the meeting. All makes great sense for you to keep looking around for buildings. I know there's one in foreclosure on Main Street in Harwich for 600. It seems to me, buildings like, the houses like that, you should chase down and fill up as many people as possible. So that being said, the shy list, as you know, 40% of the towns in Massachusetts have a 0% response to the shy list. 40%. So I don't think any of us needs to, frankly, be like Chicken Little, worrying about getting to 10. Most are 4, 5, 6 in that area. If we demonstrate with the Bruce Young template that we are progressing, I'm sure we're in great shape. But to give, say in terms of Pine Oaks, 40% of the housing to one entity, Hall Keene, to manage for us so that we can pull ourselves over to the 10% just seems like a fundamental lack of good policy and developing a key man approach to the solution. So
Yes. Thank
I
you, Matt.
appreciate you letting me say this.
Any other public comment?
Yes,
Who's
Someone online?
online, I guess?
yes, it's Lou Urbano.
Hi, Lou.
How are you doing, Larry? I just wanted to say that the individual project is not of interest to me personally, but the process is important. And that the same process be utilized for each and every project. If not, then how do you account for anyone saying you didn't treat me fairly? You didn't treat me like another project. So I urge to trust in any action they take on any project, that they can go back and say, historically, we followed the same process. And if that process isn't to be on the end line of a project, and it's to be on the beginning of a project, and every project is looked that way, where you don't have plans, you don't have regulatory information perhaps, you don't have all the committees weighing in, then that's okay, because that's the process. But I do not believe that that is your process, so I would be concerned on that. On the other, I would ask the members there, because I've heard this over and over. We have to meet the state's 10%. Is there a fine if we don't? Does anybody know?
There is no fine.
Does anybody go to jail? Anybody there?
Go on with your point.
Doris, the question is this, my point is, it's a boogeyman that exists. Yes, we want to try and meet it, but it is not a hammer hanging over our head. It is something that we aim for. Some people might say it's like a vision statement. You try to meet it. But every project we seem to say it's going to help that 10%, and we have that state mandate. Well, I'm sorry. That's a straw argument. It means nothing. So process and accurate information is what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Lou.
Thank you, Larry.
There's no other public comments,
I'm standing right here.
and you're very visible. Sorry about that.
Well, at 5'11", I'm not invisible. Hi, I'm Christine Trumbicki Guy. I live on Main Street in Harwich. I'm reading a statement from my husband because, again, these meetings are being held 1 o'clock on a business day when my husband is working and can't be here presently. So I apologize, I did miss the beginning of your meeting. So I hear there were some comments made about trying integration, so maybe the statement is not, didn't take that into consideration, but this is my husband's feelings. He feels that this project, Penrose, combined with the other proposed projects along the Queen Anne Industrial Corridor, are a misinterpretation of 40B. The intent of 40B is to integrate affordable housing into the community, not to shunt it off into high-density structures that result in isolated, segregated colonies on the outskirts of the community, miles from its services, and rather than participating within the community itself. This is an expedient effort to meet the 10% quota of 40B without addressing the spirit of 40B at all. And what Lou just said on there, no one's pointing, the state's not pointing a gun, it doesn't sound like a gun at our heads to meet that 10%. And it just seems that there's a lot of decisions being made, especially with Pine Oaks Village, which I have to admit I am more well-versed on what they're trying to cram into North Harwich there than I am with Penrose. So the yardstick, and that was my commentary, not my husband's. The yardstick here is simple. If it doesn't integrate into the community, it doesn't merit community funds. So, I just would like to reiterate the fact that please make intelligent choices with the future of Harwich and specifically North Harwich. Penrose is just one of the 40Bs going in there, but also the Pine Oaks Village, which is going to really impact us all. So please be more prudent in giving out funding for things that the taxpayers may not agree with and have voiced their opposition to. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, Brendan, you care to make a motion?
Sure, this can be long, so hang in there. Motion to approve the Affordable Housing Trust application submitted on 11/30/2025, presented by Penrose for the property at 456 Queen Anne Road, Harwich, address 456 Queen Anne, Harwich, map and parcel 70-E3-1, owners, Affordable Housing Trust Fund, presented by Ryan Carecroft from Penrose. The total amount to be committed will be $500,000 for 60 units of rent and income restricted housing, area of median income as defined by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities and HUD. Harwich Affordable Housing Trust has evaluated the project's feasibility to the degree in which it meets the priorities of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund and the availability of funds. Funds to be dispersed based on progress. Ground lease signing, $500,000. Date to be determined. So the total commitment is $500,000. Following documents and milestones to date: land disposition agreement, 5/12/2025, select board support letter, 9/8/2025, project eligibility letter, 11/26/2025, application to the trust, 11/30/2025, and the ZBA presentation on the 8th of January of this year, 2026. The Affordable Housing Trust acknowledges objective milestones before funding is released at ground lease signing date. So the next steps will bring us to the ground lease signing and any disbursement of money. ZBA process will run January to June 2026. The ZBA approval, potentially April, May, June of 2026. Massachusetts LIHTC funding round will be February 2027. Mass LIHTC funding award will be May 2027. Building permit submission, December of 2027. And the closing, ground lease, funding executed by trust, and construction start will be projected April of 2028. Our general conditions: obtain deed restricted language and process by working with the town administrator, housing advocate, and town lawyer. 2, meet all requirements set forth by the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, and meet all requirements for all 60 units to be on the SHI list, subsidized housing inventory list.
Thank you, Brendan. Is there a second? Thank you, Jeff. Is there further discussion?
Nope.
We're ready for a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'm aye. Thank you very much. Now we move to the West Harwich Square application. Don, you wish to start that?
All right, I'm going to recuse myself.
You can.
Okay, thanks. And also, Larry, I will not be returning. Yeah? Thank you.
Sometimes we have board members that have other commitments.
Good afternoon. My name is John Carey. I'm here to present a project called West Harwich Square. I appreciate your time, and I want to start by talking about the story of West Harwich and specifically Captain's Row. 150 years ago, West Harwich was a thriving village. Ships were built, families grew, the Baptist church had a bell that tolled, the schoolhouse taught its students. Commerce moved along the road that would become known as Captain's Row. Life had a rhythm and a purpose there. Then life changed. The railroad came, sea trade dwindled, the mills and shipyard fell silent. Families left in search of other work. The buildings, still there, weathered, the congregation, still there, thinned. Commerce that once bound West Harwich together slowed and then disappeared. But if you can avoid demolition, which most of West Harwich has, history has a way of waiting. Places like West Harwich can sleep for a long time before they awake. Revival never arrives by accident. Somebody has to care, somebody has to invest, somebody has to take the impossible first step and say that this stuff matters, and even if it's cheaper to tear it down, we should save it. Then the first building, the West Harwich Schoolhouse, got restored, thanks to you guys last year. Others then followed. This fall, the Baptist Church, and then the Captain Baker House. Then next spring, Mass DOT will rebuild the sidewalks, add lights, trees, and benches. After that, the church bell will return to the steeple, and all of a sudden, the neighborhood returns to life. A village center, West Harwich, reassembling itself piece by piece. While history can power our future, we have to remember a town cannot survive as a museum. Beauty, commerce, housing, and culture all must coexist. A living town is one that offers people a place to live, a place to work, a place to gather, and a place to belong. This project I'm presenting today delivers housing, commerce, revitalization, beautification, and historic preservation in a severely distressed, yet walkable and contextually appropriate location. Its scale and design are consistent with the Town of Harwich's comprehensive plan and the Harwich Housing Production Plan. So, to go into the project, we started this project with you guys about a year ago. And I talked to you about a design I had in mind, and you guys took a chance and you decided to fund the exploration of whether it's a viable project. We spent the last 12 months exploring that. We started on December 17th, 2024. I presented this project to the planning board for a preliminary project review, and I received unanimous support to advance on design, with members expressing enthusiasm to see a formal submission. The next day, on December 18th, I presented this project to the Harwich Historic Commission, and I received unanimous approval to relocate the Captain Baker House, and that is the sole portion of this site that's under the Commission's jurisdiction. On December 19th of that year, I presented this project to the Community Development Committee, Community Development Team, I guess, which consists of the head of planning, building, health, conservation, zoning, police, fire, I think Bruce was there, town administration, and the housing coordinator for a preliminary project review, and I received unanimous support to move forward to this building and enthusiastic endorsement to proceed. So that was last December. I spent the next 12 months refining and improving this project to align with the town's goals. I conducted dozens of on-site visits, walks, conversations with respected and influential town stakeholders, and incorporated their feedback into this design. This project delivers housing, commerce, revitalization, beautification, historic preservation. So then to go into the project specifically. So I'm here today asking the town to partner again on a phase 1 of the West Harwich Square project. It consists of 14 units between 2 buildings. One of them will be the historic Captain Baker House, which we're going to pick up and then relocate to the northeast corner of the lot. It'll be restored in a similar finish to the West Harwich schools. They all match. And then on the southwest corner, we're going to be building a new 12-unit building that's 2.5 stories and would be a mansard roof and would fit in with the historic character of the town.
John, let me interrupt you. Do you have this, are these on slides as well to project or not?
By email. I don't have them. I don't
That's
have them on
okay.
me.
We'll include them in the,
Yeah, they're online.
they're online.
They're online,
Okay.
and I can email them to anyone you want. So those consist of mostly 2 beds. One thing I learned between the last project and this project is on West Harwich Schoolhouse, we did 80% 1 beds. Over half the applicants were looking for a 2-bed application and a bit more square footage. We were constrained in the first project because of the size of the schoolhouse, and so we had to use what we had back then. This is a new building, and I want to listen to what the town is asking for and deliver a larger product. So those are the 2 buildings. And the request through the Conservation Trust, the Harwich Trust, is $1.375 million, which equates for about 30% of the project. In return, the trust would receive all 14 units going to the Shy List. It would receive 5 deed-restricted units for perpetuity, forever. So that's a housing product that me and my family will provide to the town of Harwich forever. The request is broken down by $240,000 of construction costs per unit, and then $35,000 of utility and site development costs. So it ends up being about $275,000 per unit. To explain those costs, I wanted to go in more detail for you guys. With West Harwich Schoolhouse, it was my wife and I's first project in the town of Harwich. It's very expensive to do anything down here. One thing that we're contending with today that we weren't contending with 2-3 years ago when we started the schoolhouse was unprecedented construction costs, layering historic inflation, and then obviously the high interest rates. These units will be 25% larger than the schoolhouse units. They'll be between 800 and 900 square foot each, as opposed to the schoolhouse with 600 square feet. And then the third change is the town has asked for a deed restriction in perpetuity. My original understanding was it was a 20 or 30-year deed restriction, and after talking with the housing coordinator and other people in town, they didn't want to set a precedent of you guys investing money and then it expiring and having nothing in 30 years. I agree with that stance, and my wife and I want to commit to you guys long-term and basically provide what you guys are looking for. So that explains the bump up in the request from $210 per unit to $275. I also provided you guys, and it's available online, a comparison of my project to the other 2 projects proposed to you guys currently, with those being Pine Oaks and Penrose. We're all trying to build housing. They're doing it in a different way. Most of the projects, if you look at it, are heavily subsidized through tax dollars. I only have one public funding tax request, and it's through you guys. If you go down the left side, the green line is my request to you. Everything else is privately funded and debt that my wife and I are taking on to build these units. If you look down the middle rows of Penrose and Pine Oaks, some of them have between 8 and 14 different funding sources. So at the end of the day, the public tax dollars per unit of funding for my project is $98,000 per unit. The other 2 projects are between $500,000 and $700,000 of public dollars per unit. So they're very different projects. And so while my number might seem large compared to maybe the other requests specifically to you guys, that is a fairer breakdown and a better way to look at it. Your tax dollars are the town's tax dollars are partnership to me. It's 30% of the project, and it makes my project viable. Without you guys, it's not happening. As opposed to the other 2 projects, they're about 1% and 4%. They're building with or without you guys. And so it's just a different type of project than you're seeing the other 2. I also provided a public sources and uses breakdown for my project. There's really only 3 tranches. There's a private construction loan that I already have a commitment from of $2.5 million. It's a similar source to how I did the schoolhouse. This is a similar project, just slightly bigger. The Affordable Housing Trust, I'm hoping to partner with you guys for the 1.375, and then private investment and personal investment is me and my wife. On the final page of the packet, I provided a construction budget for the project. I have remaining $78,000 in pre-construction costs that I'm going to begin assuming we are able to work something out today. Then the Captain Baker House has a $600,000 renovation budget to pick it up, move it, re-side it, windows, everything, make 2 units out of that. And then the Captain Chase House is what we're calling it today. That's the 12 unit of new construction, and that costs about $3.5 million to build. Total projected construction costs, development costs, I should say, is $4.5 million. I'm happy to take and answer any other questions the board might have.
Thank you, John. Let me just reiterate, on the, asking funding for us, the rest of it's primarily coming from mortgage. And that mortgage is already secured or has been committed to, or what's?
The 2.5 is a construction loan through a private lender on Cape Cod. He funded, or they funded the schoolhouse project. We're scheduled to refinance the schoolhouse next month, and then they've agreed to finance this one moving forward.
Okay.
It's been a great partnership. They're a local group that cares deeply about our community and wants to help support housing any way they can.
Okay. And could you just, for the sake of all of us, go through what your next steps are?
Mm-hmm. So,
'Cause I know you need approvals yet. I mean, you've done a lot getting at least verbal approval, but there's
Yep.
obviously more things coming.
yeah, it's right here. So process. So, as a small developer, I have to wear many hats. You know, I'm the contractor, we're the property owners, we're the property managers. We also design the projects, and we find a way to get them built. One of the early steps for me is I have to ensure that what I permit can actually be financed and built. What that means is, starting with design, I want to put together a design that meets the town's goals. We did that with our first project. We refined it, made it better for the second project, and now we've put together a package which I think meets it perfectly. The next thing, we have to build town support. We need a project that the town will support. And then you have to assemble the capital stack, which is how you're going to finance this project. There is no benefit and no purpose to me to go in and get building permits, planning board approvals, and that stuff until I know I can finance the project and get it built. I have too much respect for all the people in these boards that have to listen and discuss and deliberate to waste their time if, hey, we approve the project and then I can't build it. So once the capital stack, which would be you guys and then the private lender, are put in place, I'd move forward with this package going to planning board. We've already had many conversations with planning board and all the people that will have a say about this project, and we have great support so far. So we'd move to planning board in about a month and a half. After planning board, we would green light the construction drawings for building 1, which is the 12-unit building, and I already have construction drawings, if you will, for the existing house. It's really just a foundation and then design plans. Once we have those, we'd file for building permits, which have tripled this year, and then we'll move forward with that, and we'd start construction September 1st of this year. So we're not shoveling the ground, but we're close and we're ready to go, but we need funding.
And just one other comment. And so you list market rate and affordable housing. What we're funding is affordable housing aspect of those.
Specifically, you're funding those 5 units of affordable housing. But what you're getting in return, and we did it on purpose, was all 14 units going to the shy list.
Okay, thank you, John. Claudia?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, by the way. I appreciate the presentation. It was easy to follow. So I know we did this last time, so can you remind me how that works with the 5 affordable, but 14 going to the shy list? Was it an average? Is that how it works?
You have to be at 20% of.
Ann is nodding behind you.
You have to be at 20% of the 25% of the project, and 5 of the 14 gets you there. And then I work with the town, the housing coordinator, and we file a LAU with the state, and it's a lovely process, and it takes a bit of time, but we're going to start earlier this time. And then all 14 will go on the shy list for the town.
And did that all happen with the last project?
It did.
That's all done?
And as they talked about, I started in July, and there's a learning curve to it, but now I understand it, and we got approved, and now we're marketing, and they'll be filled in about 30 days.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Those are the only questions I have now.
Thank you.
And I think everyone's aware of this, but the reason that we get credit for affordable housing, even though not all 100% are affordable housing, is the state giving incentives to the towns to build affordable housing. Say if you do 25% affordable, you get credit for all the housing. So it's not a funny gameplay. It's an incentive or encouragement from the state to build affordable housing. That's why that works.
And one thing to talk about rate, the rents are set by the state, and so are the utility allowances, which deduct the rent. I'll be providing 80% AMI, which is a pretty standard amount. Even the market rate rents are somewhere between 100% AMI and 110% AMI. Right. So even though you guys only can, or should focus on the 80%, you're getting a package that's very close in rents. It's not like double for the market and half off for the entire package fits attainable housing in Harwich.
Okay, thank you, John. Bob?
Yeah, John, as always, it's an impressive package. And I thought I heard you say that construction could be expected to start in September of '26.
Correct.
And completed when?
These tend to take 14 months.
Okay. So that would be basically December of '27.
Yeah,
Or
call it January
thereabouts.
1st.
Yeah.
The holidays slow people down.
January 1st, okay. So, say 128, and it's entirely possible that none of the other housing projects that are under study right now would even begin construction until this is done.
It looks that way.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
one of the benefits to simplifying your pro forma and me partnering with one source and getting this stuff going, as opposed to some of the larger groups that partner with 14 sources to
And-
try to get a project funded.
And likewise, that's one of the benefits for us, to be partnering with a person who's doing the work and seeing the work get done, as opposed to a corporate structure. So, just saying. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bob. Jeff, questions, comments?
Plenty of them, probably would expect. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, John and Piper, for being here. I did a little research. Your wife is in real estate. That's fantastic, and that goes a long way in my mind. So, in my mind, there's two aspects to this. For us, all right? Our responsibility as a trust is to develop, look for, create, support affordable housing. My colleagues might not share this sentiment as deeply as I do, and I don't know. But I also wear another hat to protect the taxpayers' money. So while I go through a couple of questions, please forgive me if they feel a little pressing, but our responsibility in my mind is to protect the money that the taxpayers vote to give to us in good conscience with their trust. So, Mr. Chair touched on one. You have a commitment letter. I would like to have that in our file as soon as we could possibly have that.
Okay.
Your funding, which I believe is almost 70% of the project. Is that fair? You know? I'm sure you know, actually.
The private funding, the construction loan would be about 55%.
55%?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. And that's the single source private fund?
Correct.
Okay. So, Mr. Chair, I would request that we have something in writing in our file
We can do that. I will disclose that last time I released that, I actually had town members reaching out trying to block that because they opposed the project. So I'm happy to provide it, but I want you to know what it's like trying to build in this town.
Okay. Be that as it may. It worked out the last time, I assume.
It did.
Should work out this time, in my opinion.
I feel good about it.
This is very complicated, and I'm beginning to scratch the surface of it. My colleagues understand it way better than I do. This whole concept of building housing like this, whether it be affordable or attainable. The developers have teams of people who look through all the legality of it and the procedural aspect of it. You know, you're two people. You're exactly who I would want to bet on. I love this. I love that you're local. I love it's small business. I love that you hire locals. You're contributing to the community. You're giving back. You're doing it right. You did the last project right, even though it's in the rearview mirror by just a little bit. You know, I drive by there and I see cars there and I see people going in and out of there, and I remember what it looked like not too long ago. This is what makes me proud to be a part of. You know, giving a conglomerate or a developer, and of course we need the developers. I mean, you know, the housing issue, you know, there's debate about how critical it is, but one of the prior speakers spoke about a hammer, or a fine, or jail time. You know, the hammer is real. We feel it. The public feels it. We live in an incredibly desirable location for developers to want to come and develop housing at any cost. Sure, maybe 40 or 50% of the country's shy list, or the state's shy list is at 0%. Well, it's because no one wants to go and develop them, in my opinion. This is where people want to develop, because this is where it's just a fantastic place to live. We have a gem of a location. So in my mind, the hammer is real. And we need to move forward and show good faith to develop smartly and responsibly so that the state recognizes that we're on our way. And through my research, and Brendan's been an incredible resource, you don't have to hit 10% to have the state look at you differently. And if my math is right, if we do 60 with Penrose and 14 with you, and then 3 with what we've got with Bruce behind you, and then 11 from your last project, we're in the 70s. Okay, that moves the needle. That is representing to the state that Harwich cares, and we're doing the right thing. So in my mind, the hammer is real, because the next developer who comes down the road and says, we want to put something up in this part of Harwich, and the town comes out in numbers and speaks about it, you know, in my opinion, I think this is exactly and precisely who we need to be betting on, and at the right time. Bob, you made a great point. This project could be done prior to any other two getting off the ground. And in the world I work in, I don't deal in hypotheticals. Pine Oaks is moving forward at a certain pace. Penrose is moving forward at a certain pace. But I want to see who comes to the table first and puts a shovel in the ground. That's who I care about. Some might feel that this is not a perfect project, but I can assure you that what is there right now is not close to perfect either, and it's been there for years. So some may not be happy with the end product, understandably. It's not going to please everybody, but it's certainly going to make West Harwich look and feel different. John, you mentioned, and I know you answered this, but I'm reading and looking and admiring pictures and such. You're at $275,000 per unit. The West Harwich Schoolhouse was at $210,000 per unit. Why is this higher?
So when we partnered last time, it was before I built the buildings. You learn a lot when you build buildings. The original West Harwich Schoolhouse are predominantly one-bed units, and they're between 500 and 600 square feet each. Those are cheaper to build than a two-bed that's 25% larger. And then the difference between when we entered that agreement and now, the actual construction cost per unit for those units was actually $262,000. So moving forward, I just increased it enough so it could make up for the difference between the 25% larger cost, and it's $1 per square foot cost when you're building construction, it just is. And then also, construction costs continue to go up, especially as people are leaving Cape Cod. And then inflation has been tough over the last couple of years. So I want to make sure that this project's protected and structured to win, to succeed. You know, I don't want to come in at low again. Unfortunately, the last time I had to come back for an extra $30,000 to help get the project across the finish line. I don't want to do that again. I want to be better prepared with the experience that we have from the first project.
Thank you. If I could continue, Mr. Chair?
Please.
You mentioned why you did not go to the planning board first, and I want to make sure I hear what you wanted this board to hear. That's because you're not really interested in taking up time and effort of people if you're not able to fund the project.
Correct.
And with our funds, the 1.375, and everything else that you have in place, that funds the project
Correct.
in its entirety and wholly.
Correct. And I don't need $1 until I have planning board approval. We're ready to go, but I need to put together that capital stack before I engage the planning board.
So that's my next question. You're planning on going to the planning board
Next.
in a month and a half? Is that what I heard you say?
I'm gonna, once I have a result from, if we get to a partnership, I should say, the next step is to move forward to planning board.
Understood. That's all for me now, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Could I add one thing?
You sure may.
There's a lot of talk about the shy list and hitting that shy list. In my eyes, so much more important than hitting the shy list is the people that actually live in these units. The number one question I get is who's going to live here, who's going to live here? Like nobody lives on Cape Cod. So I brought a list of the people that live currently in the 7 market rate units of the schoolhouse. There's 2 people in the food industry, they're both chefs. One person's a healthcare professional, she takes care of senior citizens. We have a painter, his girlfriend's a cleaner. We have a Harwich elementary school teacher, she's a 3rd grade teacher in our school system. We have an electrician. We have a retired town employee who put in 25 years to this town. We have a carpenter, and we have a tech project manager. So of the 7 market rate, we have 10 people, all who are incredibly important to Harwich. Of those 10, 8 of them work in Harwich regularly. So that's who lives in these, and that's why these projects matter. We had 140 applicants for those 7 units. 140 applicants, and we only marketed it for like 3 weeks.
Right.
There's a lot of people that work in this town and drive over that bridge would prefer to live here. I live in Hyannis. I drive to Harwich twice a day, every day. Be great to have opportunities to live here. There's a lot of people that work and provide Harwich with an awful lot of stuff and should get to live here. So it's not just building and they will come. It's people that work and need this community.
Okay, I feel sorry for you living in Hyannis, but we'll move from that. But that's an important point, because I know, Jeff, you mentioned it, and Brendan and I talk about this a lot, because, we speak about reaching the shy list, and I think for most of us, or many of us, that's a tool to get there, but that's not our fundamental interest. Our interest is providing housing,
Housing.
because we desperately need it. I'm involved with another organization that struggles hiring nurses and physician's assistants. We know from a year or so ago, we had a seminar and a meeting in town, and our superintendent was saying how difficult it is to hire teachers because you can't find places to live. And this, such an important discussion. That's why this board is so passionate about doing what we can. In line with fiscal responsibility, Jeff mentions, and we always try to pay attention to the overall environment as well, as you know, when we have these discussions. But important point. Other public discussion? Duncan?
Getting my steps in today.
You guys that speak all sat in the wrong side of the room.
Sorry, my apologies to the board for the wasting of your precious seconds here. Duncan Berry, I am chair of the planning board of the town of Harwich, but I speak to you as a West Harwich resident. Family there since the 1630s. Deep roots in the Herring River Basin, and my grandparents were born and saw West Harwich and conveyed the ethos of the village as it emerged out of the Gilded Age. I kind of grew up with a feeling like I had part of my childhood in the 19th century, part in the 20th century, and now I'm stranded here in the 21st century, and I don't know what to do about it. But I can tell you one thing. As somebody who's paid a lot of attention to what's gone on to this town for the last 50 years, in this village in particular, the kind of ghettoification of it, getting stripped because we lost the Belmont, other amazing, interesting properties and businesses over there. We used to get about 1,000 people at the Belmont, 1,000 people a day, so it was 1,000 beds over the course of 100, 120 days of the year. It took a lot of, there was a lot of activity in this village, and now it's a ghost town. And what the town has done, I would say, since World War II is to be in the business of development and subdivisions and housing. What I like about what I'm hearing here, and I haven't even seen this, and I'm going to reserve I'm not commenting about this project, I'm commenting about the concept. What you have before you is, I think, probably the first time we've seen this in Harwich in my lifetime, is somebody who's building a neighborhood. Housing is part of a neighborhood. We've got a culture, commerce, connection, transportation, architecture, people that are building. This is neighborhood building. We should be in that business. I would encourage you to see this as a new paradigm, and I am very interested in to see, as it comes to our board, look at the details afresh, but the concept itself is breathtaking. And I really just delighted that we are at this point in this town, stranded in the 21st century as we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Duncan. Other public comments? Anyone online?
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Hi, this is Sally Urbano. I'm from West Harwich.
Right.
Hello, everyone. And of course, being from West Harwich, I look so forward to what John Kerry is doing and the fact that he actually does fit into the town's goal of sort of smaller housing units within a community. We also share something, John and I. We both appreciate historic preservation. And in fact, I personally made sure that the West Harwich Schoolhouse and the Baptist Church were brought to town meeting so they were not demolished. So that's just to tell you that I'm interested in that. I'm also interested in this process and hope that we can have this discussion, that the area that he will be building this complex is within the District of Critical Planning Concern. That's an overlay district, and it's hugely important as far as historic preservation and feel of the town goes. My understanding from that means that at some point, the District of Critical Planning Concern will be vetted through the Historic Commission, through the Planning Board, and from the Building Department. And that piece of information was given to me by Sarah Karjoff, who helped write these DCP's rules. So I'm hoping that that still is in the works, because that's a critical thing that would need to be evaluated. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sally. You? Okay. Because I guess that's will be part of the planning discussion, I assume.
Yeah, and the West Harwich DCPC site plan review through the planning board is the process, and that's the next step. So I'm excited for that process too.
Thank you, John. Any other discussion? Bruce?
Bruce Young, Harwich Port. I just want to applaud you and your wife for what you've done so far in West Harwich. You've taken a part of this town that people would just drive through and not even give another look to. What you've done to the schoolhouse and the surrounding property, you need to be commended for that. This project going forward, I did see it before I retired from the fire department, and I was 100% behind this project because, as Mr. Barry said, you are creating another whole new neighborhood. There's access here for people to get right on the bus and go to work right from their home. It's a great project. I hope this board backs this project, and it's not really about the shy list, I don't believe, but you're taking a couple of pieces of property that were run down in town, and you're putting a roof over someone's head that people that live right in this town that are looking for a home. So good luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I've been working fiendishly over here to try to get this motion put together, and if I may try,
Try, yes.
right now, I will, unless does anyone on the board have anything else they want to say before I move? Okay. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust Fund's application submitted on December 5th, 2025, presented by John Carey for the properties at 48 and 52 Route 28 West Harwich. Address 48 and 52 Route 28, map and parcel 10D410 and 10D42-0. Owners 48 Route 28 LLC and 52 Route 28 LLC, presented by John Carey, West Harwich Group. The total amount to be committed will be $1,375,000 for one bedroom unit and 4 two-bedroom units at 80% AMI, area median income as defined by the, help me with that, Larry.
Housing and urban livable
Yeah,
communities.
executive of the housing, living
And living communities.
communities.
Livable
and
communities.
Livable communities, and housing urban development. Harwich Affordable Housing Trust has evaluated the project's feasibility to the degree that it meets the priorities of the Harwich Affordable Housing Trust. And the available funds for the first phase, Building 3, Captain Baker House, and Building 2, Chase House. Funds to be dispersed based on progress. 1. Entitlements or permits, $100,000 received after the project approval through the Harwich Planning Board as the governing body of the West Harwich Special District. Number 2, 20% material deposit, which is $275,000, issue of with the permit from the town. Number 3, 30% labor deposit, $358,750, issue of permit from the town. Rough plumbing, $68,750, completion of rough plumbing inspection. Electrical rough, $68,750 on the completion of rough inspection, rough electrical inspection. HVAC rough, $103,125, completion of the rough HVAC inspection. Septic completion, $103,125. Insulation completion, $34,375. Plaster completion, $41,250. Interior finish, $103,125. Final 5%, $68,750, issue at certificate of occupancy. Contingency of $50,000. Items related to utility and septic unknowns. And unknowns, period. $1,375,000 at the developer's discretion and documented proof of overage. So you're going to need to prove through documentation any overages for the utility and the septic. The following documents and department meetings as presented have already happened and include Housing Affordable Trust application 12/5/25, Planning Board presentation 12/17/24, Historic Commission 12/18/24, approval to relocate the Captain Baker House. That's what happened at that meeting. Community Development 12/19/2024. He met with Planning, Building, Health, Conservation, Zoning, Fire, Police, Town Administrator, and Housing Coordinator. Other general conditions associated with this motion. Number 1, Obtain deed restriction language, local preference, and process by working with our town administrator, housing advocate, and town lawyer, counsel. Number 2, meet all requirements set forth by the Executive of Housing and Livable Communities, Executive Office of the Housing and Livable Communities. Meet all the requirements for all 14 units to be on the SHI subsidized housing inventory list. Contingency for utilities in the amount of $40,000 and $10,000 for miscellaneous unknowns per developer. Discretion, and they are not for upgrades, and we need documented proof of overages. And lastly, the trust must authorize all payments to be made with the signature of the Affordable Housing Trust Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Do you want me to repeat it? Nope. Okay, just making sure we're correct.
Now, John, hopefully we got the address and everything correct as needed. But the reason the motion is so detailed is, again, to Jeff's point of being responsible. We're committed to money, but we're watching it go out with specific actions, so we know that the money is being well spent. So we can have that assurance amongst ourselves and amongst everyone who's paying attention. Any other discussion, comments? If not, Bob, go ahead. I'll call for a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm an aye, so there's obviously no opposition. So thank you, Don. We look forward to, I know past, I would love to move there.
Bob.
Bob
Bob
seconded.
seconded the motion.
You're
You
welcome.
missed it, I made it.
I was brief.
Thank you guys
Okay,
very much.
thank you, John.
I'm excited to partner with you again,
Yeah.
and we're going to build a great project, so thank you.
Keep up
Thank
the
you.
good work. Both you and Piper.
Next on the agenda is, we used to call old business, now we call it other business. I like that better. Review of the minutes. Is there any comments on the, Bob, where we stand?
Mr. Chair, let me just talk a little bit about the minutes. The minutes of November 10th will, when posted, will include the information relative to 265 Sisson Road.
Okay.
The minutes of the 24th stand as they are. The minutes of December 8 stand as they are. And the minutes of December 22nd stand as they are. I would move approval of each set of minutes. Period.
With the addition of 265 information to those minutes, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
So, is that your motion then, we approve with the
with
addition?
addendums,
With addendum to that?
with the addendums, right.
Okay.
Second.
Second. Any other further discussion? Not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
I said thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob, yeah, very much.
Bob.
Bob, I'm going to turn this over to you because you've created a very good sheet of trying to, as a tool that, well, go ahead, explain it.
I don't, but I'm happy to share this.
Okay.
Jeff, have you seen this is what he's going to say?
Thank you.
Here, you can, okay, you can share mine.
Oh, that's fine. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. I think it's really incumbent upon us to get ourselves more organized. And we went through something this past year where we lost leadership and then had to chase that leadership back down, and that threw us off the rails. I'm hoping that that doesn't happen again. However, if we have this kind of a project management spreadsheet to guide us, I think that we're going to come out of that upheaval in a little bit better position. I want us to be tracking. We've got a lot of stuff in the works. And so whenever you have a lot of stuff in the works, you've got a lot of cracks you can fall through. I don't want that to happen, and I'm just thinking that something along this lines, and I'm wide open to your comments and suggestions and modifications on this. But I think that this should be a living document for us and just constantly updated and reflected on.
Question, Claudia? Thank you, Bob, very much for
You're welcome.
doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. No, I think it's a great idea. I like the idea of the working document so that each meeting we're updating, we know what's happening, what's next. Obviously, we did a lot in the last couple meetings in terms of the RFP process, so that will be really helpful to continue to monitor that. So, yeah, terrific. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Bob, for that. I think we're here to affect change and move things forward, and this fits perfectly. I don't think it needs to be any more complicated or simple than what you've put forward there. I think it's a perfect, easy document to read and see, and just want to thank you for your work.
Totally agree. Our chore now will be to keep it updated.
Right. Right.
And so my only addition to this would be to date it.
Yep.
Nice.
Good. Mr. Chairman, if I might, could you indulge me for a minute here?
Sure.
We, in our November 10th meeting, took a vote to, it's on the second page of the minutes, Mr. Lowney moved to ask KP Law to examine the lease, that is, the lease with 265 Sisson, seconded by Ms. Williams. The vote was 5-0 in favor. And that's the action that I think that we should be paying attention to, because we modified that at the next meeting. And I think that was an error on our part.
Okay.
I think that we really need to turn ourselves back to KP Law, even though that might ultimately be more difficult. That was the vote. That was the motion. That was the action.
Yeah. Let me turn it over to Brianna, because she has some new information.
Good.
So we did,
Identify yourself again.
sorry,
please.
Brianna Powell, housing advocate, or housing coordinator, because I guess I'm both. Larry and I met, and we did go over what we were going to put requests for quotes out. So maybe that was missed on our end, but we did send out requests for quotes for legal assistance for 265 System Road, and we did have one respondent. I sent that to all of you today, so I didn't know if you wanted to put that on the agenda for next week, or if you guys want to move forward with KP Law, that's fine as well. Just let me know what direction you want to go with that.
Well, I was raising the issue, Brianna, because I thought that the board needed to remind itself that we had made an action step,
Okay.
a vote to take an action step. If we don't want to do that, we can say that out loud.
Well, I think, as I recall the last discussion, we decided that, that because, well, to summarize, there was some feeling that there might be a potential conflict with KP Laws being the town lawyers, so we wanted someone else. So I would suggest that we have the vote to proceed. Let me, I think we should go ahead with this legal counsel and see what comes out of it at this point. Because that will keep us moving. I think that's your main point, is that it looks like it's being stalled.
The main point is, let's get going.
Let's get going.
Yeah.
We need to get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we didn't have any respondents to the first request. That's why it took a little bit longer. I had to resend it out. But the person, the attorney, the firm I reached out to did get back to me immediately, and there are no conflicts on their end. So I asked them to send the fee agreement so that we can get that signed and moving
Thank you.
forward.
And Bob, I have no shame stealing from you, so I'm going to just tell you this. I am going to forward your questions to this woman, actually.
Fine.
So that's built into their thinking of what we're, because those are great. I thank you for saying that to me.
Welcome.
Yeah,
And Brianna, stay there for a second, if you may. The other request we put out was to get soil testing done on the 2 depot roads. I still think we need to change the names of those so we can keep them straight. But we did get I know Brianna and I talked about that. I talked to Dave Bennett, And we got a quote today, I think today from him, to do that. And it's going to be, it's just over $10,000, so we have to go through now the procurement administrative fee because it's over the limit. I did talk to Dave on the phone, and there's 3 lots he'll do, 4 or 5, the soil tests to get that covered. It's a little more expensive than we might have hoped because the lots are wooded. And apparently to do the soil testing, you have to get some heavy equipment in there to dig holes. I'm sure there's a better engineering term for that, but you have to dig a hole. And so that becomes expensive because you have to cut down trees and you have to move into because you need geographical, that makes sense. You can't just do it all on the edge. So that's why the costs came in as they were. And so we'll get, I'll circulate that as well, but I would suggest we go through, Brianna's working through that, and we go ahead with that as well.
Very
And
good.
that comes out of our budget.
Right.
But it's money we agreed to get data to make our decisions. Okay?
Yeah, and Megan Aldridge is obviously no longer here, and she did all of our procurement, so I am working with admin to put together that contract, so hopefully we can get it out this week.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Please.
I speak, Chuck Alexander, East Harwich. I was just trying to understand the decision that was just made relative to, was it going to be KP Law or a different attorney?
It'll be a different firm.
Okay,
Yeah.
to be determined still.
Well, we have someone's expressed an interest in, I think the rate is $225 an hour, which I think a reasonable rate, and I think we'll look at their credentials, but so I think we'll go with them.
So we did have a second response to our request for proposals, and that's why there was a change.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, did that cover what you wanted to speak to?
Yep.
Next item on the agenda then is the agenda, and I have a couple things. Jeff, you sent me a document I want to put in next time. We wanted to go back and deal with the organization. Right now we have 5 members with a town administrator and designate. Do we not want to relook at that? We've had, I like what you said, but we have I'm sort of indifferent, but let's break that on the agenda and have that discussion. Brianna has a request for some funding for, which I'll put on the agenda for next month. Go ahead.
It's just for the Shared Regional Housing Service Office, so that I will explain that to you next month.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chair, if I might,
I lost my train. Yes, please.
you're talking about including as an agenda item a review of the operating documents as it pertains to how the chair is elected
Right.
by the board.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's correct.
Mr.
Well,
Chair,
I think it's broader than that.
Right.
It's how we're organized. Because just briefly, what Jeff has proposed, and I think it's, when I was looking around, I think one of our neighboring towns has the same model. And I forget whether it's Brewster or Orleans, Brewster, where I think Jeff, well, you sent it to me, so I don't want to let you do it.
It just discusses whether or not, and there's as you put it, Mr. Chair, this is a little bit more of a broader discussion. As it stands right now, there was a little confusion when we got our interim town administrator as to appointments and such. I would like to have a broad discussion on does the if the appointment from the town administrator, in fact, is the path we continue to go. Do we want to discuss language of being able to reorganize so that the chair doesn't automatically have to be the town administrator's appointee? Or the town administrator, if the town administrator were to step into the role, right? So that's the first question. The second question is, do we want to have the town administrator be an ex officio, but have the board populate the trust with a 4th member? So instead of, you have a select board representative, which is me, and then you have Brendan, and then you two as select board appointees, right? Maybe we should have a fourth select board appointee, but have the town administrator be an ex officio without a vote. So we have access to the information that administration has if we have questions at meetings. You know, I just didn't like how it went last time, and I would really like to prevent that from happening again. Spoiler alert, tonight I think we're going to take up the town administrator interviews and potentially vote tonight. You know, so what happens then? Right? What happens then?
We probably can't go too far. This will be on the agenda.
It's a great time to have a discussion because it will take a long time to move this through. But if there's anything that we think we may want to change,
Now's the time.
now's the time because we would need to get it before town meeting.
Did I understand correctly? Excuse me, Larry, I just wanted to make sure, is there something in writing?
I threw a sample out to Larry.
Okay,
I'll put it on for the agenda next time. I didn't, because I knew we weren't going to get to it today.
okay.
Yeah, and I'll be clear.
I'll share that.
You'll circulate that.
I certainly will.
Very
It
good.
is nothing more than a conversation starter.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Which I appreciate.
I'm not married to it. It's just something to begin the conversation.
Okay,
Uh,
appreciate that.
Of course.
I agree with that. I have asked just for sake of discussion, I've asked Tony to just get a legal statement for us that if, to avoid what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
So that if we get a new town administrator, they would leave us alone until the town administrator makes a decision on what say we don't change it, at least we'll be protected until the decision is made.
That'd be great.
Because I think what happened last time was the decision was made before town administrator or acting town administrator had a chance to, weigh in. So
Okay.
he's following up with
And
that.
if I could add, I think it's an important change that we need to make regardless. It's not just for when the town administrator voluntarily or involuntarily vacates the seat, and then we have to go find somebody. But imagine if something awful happened to the town administrator today. Do we automatically lose Larry tomorrow?
Right.
And I don't like the feeling. He does a great job. We do a great job with him. You clearly need us. So I think this is a good working team, and with everything that we have going on, I don't want to see a hiccup.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay?
Perfect.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Okay, I have one other item, and then we'll adjourn. Brianna, thank you for this, but we got I keep picking on Brianna today, but I got an email today that they formed a zoning work group that's meeting tomorrow, or Wednesday, from 1 to 3 p.m., and asking for if we want to participate. I wouldn't mind, but I have doctor's appointments at that same time.
1 to 3
It's
tomorrow.
no problem. I just, it's a so-called wellness check, and I gotta prove that I'm still well.
We'll let them decide that.
So, does anyone care to volunteer for that?
I'd have to look at my calendar.
I work
Right,
Tuesday, Thursdays, Wednesday afternoons.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not available.
And we have a trust meeting Wednesday night
We do, 5:30
at
Wednesday.
5:30.
Is that's confirmed?
Yes, confirmed.
Okay. Can you tell me how and where is that just posted? Because the last I heard, we were considering it, but
It-
again,
it was
today's, because I
posted.
thought today's was moved to Wednesday, but it was,
Yeah. It was posted, I think Bob helped,
Thursday?
Thursday
Thursday?
last
week. Okay.
Thursday last week.
Yeah.
is the, and was it sent out as a communication?
No.
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 Can we send that out as a communication?
Yes.
That would be lovely.
Yes.
Every time?
Yeah.
Every time, yeah, we need to do
Okay.
that.
I used to be the clerk on another committee, and so I always knew,
We'll
and I
use
feel
that.
like I'm
Yeah. We'll-
completely,
Yeah, sorry about
and
that.
I
We'll do that.
apologize for that, so.
Well, we promised at our last meetings, that we would hold one at 5:30 for those people that
Yeah.
were unable to attend.
Okay.
And Bob has agreed to be here again. Thank you, Bob, for
Thank you.
that. Well, Jeff, let me know if you can make it. If not, I might be able to make at least part of it to get it started.
I will let you know later today.
Okay. Anything else we should talk about? We've pretty much bored everyone to death, I guess. They left.
I just want to say it's going to be an ongoing working group, so if none of you can make it this Wednesday, if you want to discuss who would potentially like to be involved going forward, maybe you could do that.
Okay.
Not now or whenever.
Do that now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Focus on inclusionary zoning. Is that the group that is Claudia?
I don't know, was it? Can you come back? Can you say that again? I apologize, my daughter and I are trying to figure out pickup.
That's okay.
Oh, that's okay. It's
Brianna, is this the group that was going to be looking at inclusionary zoning?
correct.
Yeah, okay.
That's not yet on an agenda, but eventually that will be. Yeah.
Okay.
I was just saying it's a recurring meeting, so I don't know if it's going to be every 2 weeks, but there will be future meetings. So if no one can make it this week, it's okay. I can fill you in and then,
Okay.
yeah.
Brianna, one more. Who are the participants?
I know Rachel, Lore from zoning, Christine is running, the town planner is running the group. I saw the assessing director on
Brianna,
there.
let me interrupt you. As soon as I get home, I'll forward Brianna's email.
Yeah, I can send it to you. It came
And
through
we'll-
today.
Maybe you could do that too.
Yeah.
Send it to everyone.
Can I ask a quick question? So is this the group that we were talking about forming?
Yes.
Okay, which I had committed to being a part of from this group.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep me posted on future meetings, I'm happy to
Sure.
still continue to do that.
Okay,
Okay.
It's just-
problem solved. We have,
Perfect.
Someone doing
And the
it.
public is able to attend if they'd like.
Yeah. Thank you, Claudia.
Yeah.
I'll send you the meeting details. They just
I
sent it
didn't
to me.
realize it was that specific group.
Okay, perfect. See how things work out if you just keep talking? Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you, Bob. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Has anyone ever been to a meeting where they objected to adjourning?
Yes, actually.
Have you really?
I have. I left anyway.